Hey guys, so it is the end of the year, which means it is time to talk about my favorite movies within the year of 2024. The Oscars do not matter. The only thing that matters is my opinion. Let's get started. Starting off with Poor Things. Now, I know this technically came out at the end of last year, but I didn't see it until the beginning of this year. And I was like, well, it wasn't really fair that I wasn't able to put it on my 2023 list, so here it is on my 2024 list. I know it's not technically a 2024 movie, but I don't care. This movie kind of sucked anyway. I'm giving this a D. It wasn't awful. There were some moments I like. I think Emma Stone does a really good performance here. There's some funny moments, but a lot of it feels too much like softcore pornography. Um, I don't like the idea of a grown woman with a child's brain having sex for like 2 hours straight. I don't know. It just seems a little creepy, like they're taking advantage of her. And I know the whole spirit of the movie is her finding her independence, but it's like I don't know, is her being fucked by like 15 different men finding independence. Um, but I'm not going to touch that one with a 20-foot pole. Moving on. Uh, we have Dune Part Two. That's getting an A. I loved this movie. It's my movie of the year. I even got it on Blu-ray for Christmas. One, because I love the movie, and two, because physical media is kind of a dying thing, and I want to keep it alive. So, would look really good on my shelf right next to Dune Part One. Very excited for Dune Part Three whenever that comes out, but I'm not really rushing it because I feel like these movies take a lot of time. Um, Great story, great performances, incredible directing. Denis Villeneuve is like, getting up there to be like the next Christopher Nolan. Like, not in terms of style really, but in terms of like a household name. Well, if you watch if I hear, oh, Denis Villeneuve's directing a new movie, chances are I'm gonna see it. He's making a Cleopatra movie. He's making a Rava movie, I think. So he's had a really good career, and Dune 2, I think, is his masterpiece as of the moment. I do like all of his movies that I've seen now. Moving on to Furiosa. This, of course, is the prequel to the sequel to Mad Max. Um, I thought it was good. This is getting a solid C. And just so you guys know, C doesn't mean bad. C means average. I thought it was pretty good action flick. Anya Taylor-Joy does a good job, despite the fact that she looks absolutely nothing like Charlize Theron. Um, I like how they give more depth to Furiosa, who was always a standout character in Fury Road. But the movie itself does have some pacing issues, and the CGI doesn't look the best. Though I do think some of the action scenes were really good. If you think like, oh, Furiosa, you kind of know what you're gonna expect by watching this. Nothing really surprised me, but then again, nothing really. Things don't really need to surprise me in that way. I still enjoyed it a lot. Moving on to Ma'awaha, which is an Indian movie. I did not see this in the movie theater. I wish they brought it to the movie theater because I just prefer watching movies on the big screen than I do at my house with. I can't remember if this was on Netflix or Amazon Prime, but it was on one of those streaming services. I know foreign films don't usually go that well in theaters in America, but I don't know. I mean, I'd watch it if it was in a theater. I thought this was pretty good. I might actually move this up to B minus here. Uh, hmm. This is a tough one. I think I might move it up to B minus. I thought it was a pretty good movie. Action was intense. That twist at the end was crazy, though I do think it took a very long time to get to that twist, and the wait for it was not worth the reward of getting the twist. But still, pretty crazy movie. A lot of funny scenes, like when the people have to like physically remove the guy from the room. The whole thing with the daughter is slightly disturbing. Um, Less disturbing than something like, I don't know, Incendies or Old Boy. Like, it's not that level of disturbing, but still, some intense scenes happen in this one. So I think it's pretty good. I haven't really seen that many people talk about it, um, despite like all the praise it's getting. But I feel like that usually happens with foreign films. It's very rare that a foreign movie gets like really hype. Um, like Parasite, for example. But I thought this was pretty good. Moving on to Inside Out 2. Uh, I liked it. I liked how it explores Riley's like going through puberty, becoming a teenager, all the heavy stuff. I do think some of it is a bit too similar to some of it's a bit too similar to the first one. Like it doesn't really stand out as much. I like the additional emotions they introduce, like anxiety and the big pink shy guy, embarrassment, right? Uh, I think this movie is very psychologically complex, but it doesn't really do that much to stand it apart from the first movie, which I think is definitely more creative. But Inside Out 2 is still pretty good. Could have used more Kyle MacLachlan, though, for being honest. If you hire an actor like Kyle MacLachlan and you barely have him do anything, what's the point, really? Um, Moving on to Horizon. Oh, I forgot to put a D plus here. Hold on a minute. D plus. Yeah, that's Horizon for you. Um, it showed potential, but I think it would have worked better as a series than as a series of movies, like a TV show, because so the movie is 3 hours long, but at the same time, it's too fast paced, which is very strange. There's so much stuff happening at once. There's like 15 different characters, and you keep flashing between all of them, and you don't really get enough time to know or care about any of them. Um, it's it's like having a dream where you just keep going from one place to another without any cohesion. They're all trying to get to the horizon. I get it, but like I just feel like it's too disjointed to really be enjoyable. Um, some things in the movie are just plain odd. Some choices. I think the directing was pretty good, uh, but it's no Dances with Wolves, if we're being honest. Moving on to Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm just gonna put that as Deadpool 3 to save space. I like this movie. It was funny. Uh, I think Ryan Reynolds has good chemistry with Hugh Jackman, and seeing Hugh Jackman in a comedic version on Wolverine is kind of funny because he plays like the straight guy to Deadpool's racky guy. Um, I like seeing the return of all those old Marvel people like Blade or Elektra, um, and of course Johnny Storm. Um, but the movie's plot's a bit thin. I do really like Matthew McFadden as the villain and Princess Diana as the other villain. Um, but it does have a pretty thin plot. Could have used more Vanessa. I almost called her Nora for a second. Shows how long I've been watching home movies. I feel like her breaking up with him, or him breaking up with her, kind of came out of nowhere and was resolved really quickly. I feel like that didn't even need to be in the movie. But I don't know. I feel like her and Ryan Reynolds have really good chemistry, but they didn't really utilize it that much in this. Moving on to The Wild Robot. This is definitely my second favorite movie of the year. I thought it was adorable. Reminded me of like one of those old Pixar movies or maybe a Studio Ghibli movie. I also got this for Christmas on DVD because, like I said, one, I like the movie. Two, I'm trying to save physical media. Um, it's it's very sweet. It's funny. There's some sad moments in it. I think it's a great children's movie because it doesn't really talk down to the child audience like some movies do. Yeah, it reminded me a lot of like an old classic Pixar movie, like watching like Monsters Inc. or something. Um, or cat. You know what it really reminded me of was Castle in the Sky, which is a Miyazaki movie. Um, it's a simplistic story about a robot raising little goose, and it's really about different types of people coming together as a community to, face common hardships, which I think is a simplistic message, but a very joyful one. And of all the crazy, tragedies happening in the world, I think it's nice to have a very feel good, emotional movie about people coming together. So yeah, this is great. Can't wait for the second one because I heard the director's going to make a second one. I read the first book, but I haven't read the second book because I kind of want to like watch the second movie first. And I know the books came out first, but I don't care. Moving on, we have We Live in Time, which is getting a C minus. Uh, I think the performances were really good. Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh never disappoint. There's a reason why they're in like every single movie ever now. Um, and I think the story is pretty good, but the pacing is awful. and the decision to jump back and forth through time constantly really made no sense. If you told the same story beginning to end, it would have I think it would have been a better film for it. Now I like movies that mess with time. I like shows that mess with time. Lost, Better Call Saul, um, I don't know, Twin Peaks, stuff like that. Fuck, my favorite show is Doctor Who. I like the Pulp Fiction, the Kill Bill, a lot of the Tarantino movies that mess with time. However, those actually seem to have a reason to be like that. Like This Is Us, like stuff like this. Okay, I'm done listing examples. They have a reason to keep going back and forth in time. Well, this one really doesn't, and I think the movie itself suffers from that a lot. Moving on to Wicked, which probably the biggest surprise of the year because I'm not really a big musical fan, and I was like, oh, okay, it's gonna be okay, but I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I did. The music was great. The performances are incredible. Cynthia Erivo, I believe her name is, does a really good job as Elphaba, and Ariana Grande as Glinda is great. Like I always Ariana Grande's I always think she's a good singer, but her music normally isn't really my taste. Like I feel like it's targeted towards like teenage girls. Not that I'm judging that, like what you like and stuff, but I always found her to be more like funny than her music being good. But she is also, obviously a great singer, and it shows in this. Um, but yeah, I think she was great in this. It's surprisingly like emotionally deep for a musical movie, and I kind of like those. Like it doesn't take itself too seriously because it is an Oz film, and there's a lot of references to the original Wizard of Oz, like the book and the 1939 movie. Um, I don't know. I just thought it was great. I thought it was really enjoyable. More thoughts on that on my video on it. And lastly, which is why I waited so long to make this review, is Anoa, which is getting a C plus. I enjoyed this movie a lot. I just saw it today. So this is about a stripper who starts dating this bratty billionaire son of these Russian guys, and he like marries her just to piss off his parents. But then shit goes crazy in the second half. Not gonna lie. I feel like the best way to go in this movie is to go in it completely blind because that's what I did. I feel like the trailer itself doesn't really give away what the tone of this movie is because the first half is kind of a raunchy sex comedy, and then the second half kind of takes into a different direction. And I don't want to spoil that for you guys, so I'm just gonna leave that there. I did enjoy it, um, but yeah, let me know down in the comments what your favorite movie of the year is, and what your least favorite movie of the year is. Definitely these two for me. Um, you know, I don't really have any Fs on this list because I don't really go out of my way to watch things I know I would dislike. Like you don't see me watching like Craven the Hunter or any of the Blumhouse movies because I feel like I know I would hate those, so I'm not gonna spend my money on that. Um, so yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope everybody has a happy New Year. Thanks.